Hello again, and thank you everyone for your interest and joining us today. I would like to start by just mentioning some of the housekeeping notes. First thing regarding the interpretation for yes, simultaneous interpretation is available. So if you are interested, you can choose the Turkish language from the toolbar on the Zoom. You can turn on the Turkish channel if you are interested. And another thing, regarding the questions or comments, if you have any questions or comments as I'm presenting the content and all of this, you can type your questions in the chat box, okay? Or you can wait till the end of the presentation. We will open up for questions and you will have the chance to turn your microphone on and ask questions. So the two options are available. And yes, I think now, we can start. Yes, so first of all, like an introduction on this session and the purpose of this session. Yes, this session is a continuation of our CSO and NGOs, local NGOs uh, training series, which we started in August last year. And yes, the aim of this webinar series is to equip the local NGOs and local CSOs with advanced knowledge and skills that they need to implement um, projects and activities and so on. And yes, so today's session is about the monitoring and evaluation part of any project, and specifically, it's going to focus on the project indicators, how to form project indicators, and how to select project indicators for activities and projects in general. And yes, first thing I think, yeah, we can go quickly through the agenda to see what we will cover today. So the first part is going to be the introduction. In the introduction part, you will learn more about our organization, building markets, what we do, and how we do it. Okay, and then we will quickly go over the learning outcomes, which is why we are here. We will quickly see what we expect to gain as a result of this training session, and then we will quickly define the monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning systems and indicators, what it stands for, like a quick, brief definition, okay? And then we will cover the indicators type. In this section, we will learn more about the different types of indicators, what they are for, and how each type differs from the other. And then we will see together how to form an indicator, okay? What we need, what kind of criteria we need to follow in order to formulate a useful and a meaningful indicator. And then we will see the different types of indicator components, okay? That's what an indicator consists of. And after all of this, we will review together an application or an example. We will take a certain project and then a certain activity and try to formulate some indicators for that specific service. And yeah, we will apply uh, all the concepts we learned before. And last thing, we will open up for questions. If you have any questions you would like to ask, and comments and so on. All right. So the first thing, our story, building markets, who we are, what we do. So building markets, we are an international NGO, and we are headquartered in New York City in the US. We have been present in Turkey since 2017, and we are implementing a project in the livelihoods sector. And in brief, the scope of our project is to support small and medium-sized enterprises that are owned by the two communities, refugee community and host community, to support them and equip them with the knowledge, skills, and relations they need to grow and create jobs for the two communities again, for the refugee and the host community. This is the project that we are implementing in Turkey, and the name of the project is Sustainable Marketplace Turkey. And yes, so yeah, that's in brief our project and the mission of our organization in general. It is to unleash the transformational power of small businesses to address pressing social challenges by driving job creation and inclusive growth. So this is our mission. This is what we aim to achieve in Turkey or in any other country where we operate. And yes, so how do we achieve this? How do we do what we do? And now we will quickly review our model, how we work. So our model consists of three pillars: find, build, and connect. Okay, and we will review each of the pillars, see what they are, what kind of services we deliver under each pillar. Yes, before that, yeah, it's worth mentioning that building markets develops trusted relationships with the entrepreneurs and uses a data-driven approach to strengthen the capacity of the small businesses that we serve in order to contribute to local marketplace through end-to-end services. And yes, we will learn more about it as we learn more about the project and what we do. So again, the three pillars, the first pillar is the find pillar, okay? And under this pillar, we build better market information by verifying the small businesses that we serve. And we do that through in-depth surveys and publishing searchable business profiles and research reports. And then we move on to the next stage of our interference or our services cycle. This is the build pillar. And in this stage, we enhance the commercial and digital capacity of the small businesses through training and advisory services, helping them to compete in a global marketplace. This is where we build their capacity to become more competitive. And the last pillar, this is the connect pillar. This is where we equip the businesses with the relations that they need. And yeah, here we improve the market efficiency through tender distribution services, matchmaking services, and events that enable small businesses to access new buyers, customers, and capital. And like this, they develop new relations. Yeah, that's in brief our model. And next, we will quickly review together the services. Yeah, all the services that we are offering to our beneficiary community in Turkey. And yeah, again, we will see each service, how it is related to the three pillars. So the first pillar, again, it is the find pillar. It is here in the dark blue color. So in this scope, we deliver, we implement three main services. The first thing, it is business verification. And in the business verification, this is where we verify all the beneficiary businesses that we serve. Okay, and we do this through conducting a verification survey with the businesses. We collect information on them, what they do, and how they do it. Why do we do that? In order to publish research reports on their scene, okay, on their contribution to the local economy and local community as well, okay. And of course, other than this, the data we collected, it is also used to create profiles for them. Profiles, I mean business profiles. We create business profiles for the businesses we serve on a searchable business directory platform, which everyone around the world can access and see all the businesses we serve. Like this, we contribute to their digital ID. And yes, this is what we do under the find stage. Okay, so after we found and identified the businesses or beneficiaries, we take them to the next stage, and this is the build stage. In the build stage, this is where we equip them with the knowledge and skills that they need to become stronger and more competitive. And how do we do that? We do that by offering them business training and offering them one-on-one mentorship, okay, on topics that they need. It is almost, yeah, especially the advisory services or the mentorship services, it is tailored to their needs. Okay, so businesses that need, let's say, advisory on exports and international markets, they join a mentorship program specific to that topic, and so on. So, yeah, again, the main two services to build their capacity, it is the advisory and training services. And yes, after we, yeah, by the way, it is this part of the map, it is the orange part of the map. And after we have built their capacity and equipped them with the knowledge and the skills they need, we move them to the last stage, which is the connect stage. And at the connect stage, this is where we connect them with the buyers or clients. This is where we help them develop relations with the supply chains and all of that in order to generate revenues for them and secure new business opportunities. Because what we aim to eventually achieve is to create jobs for the people, create jobs for the refugee and host community. And of course, businesses are key job creators in any country, in any uh, economy. And yeah, for businesses to create jobs, they need to win business opportunities. They need to have, they need to generate more revenues. And this is what we do under this pillar, under the connect pillar. Here we connect them with the business opportunities. We connect them with the uh, tenders in the market, with the local buyers. Local buyers, I mean local private sector buyers, okay, or uh, private sector from the international markets. This is our export promotion service, and yes, mainly it is the export promotion service, or it is the tender distribution service. The tender distribution service, it is where we introduce the businesses we serve to tenders in the market. Okay, the tenders are mostly published by NGOs or non-profit organizations or even the public sector, and we introduce them to all of those business opportunities in the market. We help them secure new business opportunities. We help them compete. And yes, this is in brief, like our services, what we do, and the services map, as we call it. And yeah, next, yeah, if you want to quickly see the impact of all the services I just mentioned, how we work together, if we ask ourselves what is the result, okay, we can start from here. We so far we trained or mentored over 1,000 unique SME, okay, and yes, those businesses that we serve, they won $30 million, uh, $30 million in new business opportunities. Okay, that means in new transactions or in new contracts, tender contracts, export contracts, or contracts with the local private sector buyers. Okay, $30 million, and those business opportunities created 6,000 jobs for the people, for their employees, for new employees, or all of that. We can say that yes, the new business opportunities they won, it generated 6,000 employment opportunity for the people in Turkey, for the refugee or host community. And yes, this is the impact of our project in brief. And yes, after this, we can move on to the next section. This is where we will learn more about our learning outcomes from this session, what we will learn, and all of that. Okay, so again, yep, this training session is related to a topic that is related to the meal systems. And specifically, it will cover the indicators part of the meal system, how to select indicators for your project and how to formulate a useful and a meaningful indicator for the services or the project in general. Okay, and like this, the first learning outcome that we will get, it is we will develop a stronger understanding of what an indicator is, okay, what it means and why it is important, what it refers to, and all of this. And we will also learn the different types of indicators, okay, and how many types there are, what they are, how they differ from each other. And number three, it is how to form a meaningful and a useful indicator. Okay, we will see this in details. And learning outcome number four, it is the different components of a useful indicator. Okay, here we will see what the indicator consists of. And last thing, we will apply what we learned. We will take a real life example. We will select a project. We will select a service and come up with indicators for it. And then we will select one of the indicators and see its components and all of that. All right, so the first thing, before we get into the details of indicators and all of this, it is important to quickly define the meal system, the monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning systems. Yes, to make sure we have correct and a strong understanding of what it means. So the meal system is an essential part of everyday project management, and it is a critical part to the success of all project types. Meal systems help you to track progress, make adjustments, and discover unplanned effects of the project. Discover where there might be an area of underperformance, for example, and also judge the impact of what we have made on the lives of the people we serve. Yes, this is in brief what the meal system is, its purpose, okay? And then we can quickly review the benefits of the meal system and who are the different stakeholders that use the meal data. Okay, so for that we have four different audiences. Okay, we have the beneficiaries, project staff, management and leadership, and the last thing, it is the donors who are funding the projects. All right, so quickly, if we ask ourselves, how do the beneficiaries benefit from the meal data? Okay, so the first benefit for them, it is the fact that when the beneficiaries see that we care, let's say, if they see that we care about the results and we are trying to collect all of this data, because collecting feedback and accountability is, of course, a major part of the meal data. So the fact that when they see that we care about the results and we are doing this active data collection, okay, uh, they can see that, yes, we are interested in developing the services and improve what we are doing. And it is an evidence for them that, yes, data will be used to improve the efficiency of implementation as well as implementation design, okay, which of course will reflect on them because they will expect that the project outputs or the project outcomes will be improved. Yes, so yeah, this is why the meal data is of importance to the beneficiaries. And yeah, audience number two, it is the project staff. Okay, meal can generate more buy-in and trust in the organization's commitment to the mission. If there is a clear effort to assess the progress and use the assessment to get better at delivering impact. Okay, so the fact that we are assessing what we are doing, not only our progress in terms of quantitative form, let's say, not only like our progress against the target, but no, if we are collecting quantitative and qualitative data, okay, that we will take into consideration and we will assess, okay, and yes, this helps the project staff make more high quality decisions because it is again data based, okay, and yes, this will result in becoming better at delivering impact. Yeah, because we are closely assessing what we are doing. And audience number three, it is the management and leadership. Why it is of importance to them? Because, of course, the determining changes to the strategic direction becomes much more data-driven and much more data-based with the ongoing data and analysis from the media processes. Again, all the quantitative and qualitative feedback or all of this kind of data that we are collecting, of course, it is meaningful. It gives a meaning. We can understand what we are doing. Is what we are doing useful to the beneficiaries? Are they satisfied with what we are doing? Do they think we need to do some sort of changes, small or big? Okay, so all of this data, it helps us determine if any changes are needed. Okay, and with relevant or comprehensive data, okay, our executive officers can build much more persuasive arguments. And yes, regarding audience number four, it is our donors who are funding our projects. It is important to them because it assures them that the funds for impact flows to where the data is, and good meal implementation can open up that flow because it breeds impact credibility, and of course it creates more transparency. Yeah, everything becomes more transparent to them, and it helps in their understanding of how much impact we are generating per investment dollar. And yes, this is in brief why the meal is important. And after this, yeah, we will see quickly what it takes to develop a well functioning meal system. Okay, what we need and the standardized, or let's say the steps that we need to follow in order to make sure that we are building a healthy and a well-functioning meal system. So we have 6 steps that we should follow when we are starting out a new project or when we are developing our already existing meal systems. So the first step is to identify the program goals and objectives, to have clearly stated and very clear goals and objectives for the project in general and for each service in particular. Yeah, this is the step one. Make sure that it is clear to everyone, they are well defined and clearly understandable. And step number 2 is to define the indicators. Of course, the project itself, like the project all in all, has specific indicators, has specific outcome or objectives that we are trying to achieve. But it is, of course, important to make sure that each service or each activity has also well-defined indicators. Yeah, because the indicators are not related to the project all in all. No, they are related to the project and they are related to the different services as well. And then step number 3, it is to define the data collection methods, data collection tools, and the timeline. Okay, by the timeline, we mean the frequency of data collection for each service. You should know in advance how you want to collect it, how you want to collect the data, whether it is baseline data or post-service data. You should have a clear cadency and frequency plan. And of course, define the methods and tools you want to use to collect the data on each service. Do you want to use analog or digital kind of tools? Will you use surveys? Will you use focus group discussions? And all of this data collection methods and tools should be clearly identified and clearly built, yeah, before the beginning of the implementation. And again, the data collection methods and tools are related to the project and related to the specific services and activities. And the step number three, it is to identify the monitoring and evaluation roles and responsibilities. Yes, if you have a meal unit or maybe the meal team can be smaller, and therefore the meal duties can be distributed to other team members in the team. Yes, it is important to make sure that everyone understand their responsibility in terms of the meal activities, the data collection, how it happens, and make sure that everyone is aware of their responsibility. Okay, whether it is small or big, will they do part of the data collection or part of the distribution of tools and all of this? It is important. It is very crucial to make sure that everyone in the team understands how the meal system will work. It shouldn't be limited to the meal staff or the meal unit. Even if you have a big meal unit, they will carry out all of the activities. It is still important to make sure that the project staff are aware of how the roles are and who will do what. And after this, step number three, it is to create an analysis plan and reporting template. And here in this step, it is important to make sure that we know what we want to do with the data after we have collected all of the data, how we want to do the assessment and analysis in order to formulate some findings and actions to understand what we collected from the beneficiaries regarding their satisfaction or regarding their needs, to understand, do we need to make changes? Do we need to change our direction, whether it is big or small change? It is crucial to understand and have a clearly set plan for how you want to assess and analyze the data that you are collecting. And of course, develop the reporting templates, whether it is for internal or external reporting. By that, I mean, there is, of course, donor reporting. There are some other type of reports that you might need to develop. It can be reports to the board or reports to the executive leadership and management of the project. And the last step, step number 6, it is the plan for the dissemination and donor reporting. So after you have collected everything, analyzed and assessed and made some changes according to the data you collected and you learned, it is time for reporting on what you did. Like after you have done all of the data collection, assessed it, learned from it, and took actions based on it, it is the time to disseminate your findings, and it is the time to make the final reportings to the donor and all of the external parties, because of course for the donors and everyone, it is important to show them how the accountability informed the program design or informed the strategy. Okay, the accountability, it means what you learned from the beneficiaries about the satisfaction or about their needs, how that informed what you are doing, what kind of changes you need to make because you learn that the beneficiaries are happy or not happy about something, or you learn that the beneficiaries need some sort of adjusted or a new service. And yes, this is in brief the different steps we need to take in order to make sure that we are building a healthy and a well-functioning meal system. And yes, the focus of today's session, it will be on step number two, okay, which is defining the indicators. This is what we intend to focus on today's session. Okay, so now, yeah, the first thing, yeah, before, yeah, to start talking about indicators and all of this, it is important to make sure that we all have a clear and correct understanding of what indicator means. And for that, we will start by defining the indicators. Basically, like an indicator provides a sign or a signal that something exists or it is true. That means it is an evidence. An indicator is used to show the presence or state of a situation or a condition in the context of monitoring and evaluation. An indicator is a quantitative metric. It's a quantitative metric that provides information to monitor performance, measure achievement, and determine accountability. It is also important to note that quantitative metric can be used to provide data on the quality of an activity or a project. Okay, that means an indicator is used for quantitative or qualitative kind of data. Okay, but like its final form, it is always it has to be, let's say, translated into a quantitative form. Okay, so an indicator in the monitoring and evaluation, it is always in the form of a quantitative metric. Okay, of course, it measures both. It is used to measure and track both type of data, quantitative and qualitative, but at the end, it has to be translated into a quantitative kind of metric. And yes, so when we are thinking of indicators and how we want to select indicators, it is important to follow the SMART criteria. The SMART criteria is not some sort of criteria that is limited or uh, related to the meal in particular. No, actually, the SMART criteria, it is a common kind of criteria that is recommended when you are developing reports, essays, articles, proposals, or any kind of literature product. Okay, it's a list of criteria. It's five uh, items. Okay, that you are always recommended to follow when you are writing or developing this kind of products. Okay, so the SMART criteria, it stands for the following five items: specific, measurable, available, relevant, and time bound. Okay, so when we say specific, it means make sure that you are make sure that your indicators are specific to objectives. Okay, and by measurable we mean that they are indicators that you can measure either in quantitative or qualitative way again. And available, it means make sure that your indicators are available at an acceptable cost. Okay, and yeah, we will learn more about this in the slides to come. And criteria number four is the relevancy. Make sure that your indicators are relevant to the information needs of the decision makers. Okay, it shouldn't be some sort of indicator that is irrelevant or far away from the overall program objectives or goals. And the last item of our criteria list is the time bound. Okay, make sure that your criteria are time-bound. That means you know when you are gonna arrive at, let's say, at a specific outcome or a specific result. Okay, so it is for you to know when you expect that you will achieve a specific objective or a specific target. So it is important that your indicators meet the five criteria. This is how you can make sure that you have a good basis, yeah, for developing and selecting indicators. Yes, before we move on into like more details, it is important to mention that good indicators are also defined by the feasibility of collecting meaningful and credible data. Yes, so if you, like, let's say we have a very interesting indicator, but yes, collecting the data or tracking the impact that we are doing related to this indicator, it might not be feasible either because of the time or because of the cost, or we don't have really the resources we need to measure and track an interesting indicator like this. Okay, so even if the indicator meets the five criteria we just mentioned, it is important to make sure that there is a good feasibility. That means feasibility in terms of the resources we have, the time we have, and the funds, of course, because for some indicators, it might be costly in terms of funds or human resources to track or measure a specific indicator. So it is also important to assess the quality of your indicators, to assess them against the feasibility in the context I just explained. Yes. In addition to that, good indicators should actually and accurately measure what they claim to measure. Okay, so it should clearly explain how a specific outcome or how a specific result was measured. Okay, and yeah, we will explore this in more details in the slides coming up. Okay, so next section is to understand the different types of indicators. Okay, so when we say indicators, we have four main different types. We have an input kind of indicator, output, outcome, and impact. And of course, each of them is completely different from the other. Each of them indicates something different. Yes, they are not related. It is correct to say that they are different stages. That's correct to say. So input indicator is stage one, output indicator is stage two, and so on. It is correct to think of it like this, but no, they are not the same. They don't indicate the same result as well. So let's quickly see the definition of each indicator type. So the input indicators, this indicates how a resource was used in a project, including the financial and the human resources of the project. Okay, this is what indicates. This is what it is used for. Okay, it just shows how we spend our resources. And the output indicators, it is yeah, it refers to or it indicates the immediate result of the project activities. And here I want to make sure that yes, we are clear on this. It is the immediate result. It is not the immediate outcome. It is not the immediate impact. Okay, and yes, this is the immediate result of the project activities. And this term relates to the direct product or deliverables of a project activity. For example, we are delivering a training service. Okay, let's say a training service or a mentorship service. I'm going to take the mentorship service as an example here. And the output, like the output for a mentorship service is the number of people we mentored, okay, the number of individuals or the number of businesses that benefited from the mentorship service, okay, and of course it is measured in a quantitative way. It is number of people, okay. Why did I emphasize that it does not measure the outcome or the impact? Because we are just measuring it in terms of numbers with no respect to the quality yet. Okay, we are just saying we trained or mentored 50 companies. Okay, it's not enough to indicate that it resulted in something after this. It does not indicate that, yes, it was the training was helpful to the people learned from it, people gained new knowledge and all of this. No, an output indicator, it does not indicate this. Okay, it refers to the immediate result. Okay, how what happened right after we spent our resources, after we had our inputs. And indicator type and number 3 is the outcome indicators. And this type of indicator, it refers to the intermediate change. Okay, intermediate change. This means what we did has resulted in a change. Okay, so it refers to the intermediate changes that a project effects on the target. Okay, on the target audience, the people we are serving. And yes, so I'm going to stop here before I go into more detail. So an outcome indicator, it refers or it measures the change that happened as a result of what we did. Okay, so this is how it is completely different from the output kind of indicator. Okay, so we train, we mentor people, we deliver networking events. Okay, but what happens as a result of those services? What happens, the change that happens, it is always measured by outcome kind of indicators. Okay, and yeah, what kind of changes? Okay, so changes in knowledge, changes in attitude, beliefs, skills, or behaviors. Yes, so yeah, this is what an outcome indicator means. This is what makes it unique from others. And indicator type number 4 and the last type, it is the impact indicators. Okay, and this kind of indicators, it is used for the longer range of measurement, longer range of change or effect. Okay, and yes, it is cumulative effect of the project over time on what the ultimately on what we ultimately aim to change or generate. Okay, it is not something that happens in a short time after we deliver our services. Of course, after we deliver our services, we can expect the outcomes to happen. Okay, the changes in people's behavior, but in fact, well-established project does not aim to change people's behaviors only. No, it aims to change their behaviors in order to do certain actions or generate an action. It's not only limited to making a change in people's attitude or behavior. Okay, so let's take an example here. I'm gonna take our project as an example. As I said, our project aims to support the small businesses. Okay, we deliver a package of services. Why do we do that? What is our ultimate objective? It is to help the businesses create jobs for the people. Okay, so for our project, our impact indicators are the number of jobs that the businesses created as a result of the services we delivered to them. And yeah, so after we have seen the different types of indicators, now it is important to review together what we need to know, or yeah, what we need to make sure we are forming a useful indicator. So the following, like in front of us now, we have 7 questions, and those 7 questions are kind of standard questions that are useful for you to ask yourself when you are planning your project or when you are selecting or forming indicators for your project. If you ask yourself those questions, you can be sure that you are selecting a useful or a meaningful kind of indicators. So question number one is like this. Does the indicator have a clearly stated title and definition? And what we mean by this, what we want to ensure by asking this question, it is important to make sure that the title of your indicator is clearly understood to everyone, okay, whether internal or an external party, okay, if it is someone in the team or someone from your donor organization or someone from the community. When they read your title, it is important for them to easily and clearly understand what this indicator is for, okay. That means uh, it shouldn't be vague, or it shouldn't be kind of open-ended kind of indicators. No, it should be very specific so that it is clear for everyone. And question number two, does the indicator have a clearly stated purpose and rationale? Okay, again, it is related to our relevancy item of the criteria we reviewed together before this slide. Okay, that means make sure that all of your indicators are related to the program overall goals and overall objectives. Okay, it shouldn't be an indicator that is not really related to what you are working to achieve. Okay, I'm going to stop here and I'm going to give you an example. Okay, so let's take, for example, let's take our project. Okay, as I said, we deliver training services to the businesses we need. It's not, let's say, it is not of relevance, okay, to us to have an indicator like this, which says number of training sessions, for example, let's say number of training sessions delivered, let's say, in English or in Arabic. No, because it is not really important. It doesn't really like strongly relate to what we are trying to do. Okay, so no need to have this type of indicators that will not be used, because as we said before, like all of the data we are collecting, they are all important. We will use all of it for different purposes. We will use it to understand what we are doing. We will use it to understand what we need to change. Okay, so that's why it is not a good idea to collect data or have indicators on data points that are not important or not related to what we ultimately want to achieve. Question number three, are the data collection methodology and data collection tools for the indicator data clearly stated? Okay, so it is important to make sure that in advance of starting delivering a service or an activity, it is important to have a clearly stated methodology and data collection tools that you will use, okay, to know how a specific indicator will be measured. Okay, you can have let's say like very interesting kind of indicators, but when you come to think of how you want to measure this indicator, you might find it not feasible. You might find it difficult in terms of time or in terms of the resources you have. Okay, so make sure that as you are thinking or formulating your indicators, make sure you are thinking of how you want to measure and collect data for those indicators. Yes, everything should be lined up. And question number four, is the data collection frequency clearly defined? Yeah, this is a very simple and straightforward question. This is to ensure that you know when you want to collect a certain or a specific data set. Okay, so it is important to have a plan for it. And question number 5, is any relevant data disaggregation clearly defined? Okay, and yeah, again, this is related to how you want to collect the data. For example, for some projects, or let's say for the majority of projects, it is important that they collect data which is disaggregated by gender. Okay, so that means it is important for you to know that the people, the communities you are serving, how many of them are males, how many of them are females. Okay, so this kind of data disaggregation, it is important to know and decide on what kind of data disaggregation you want. Okay, so disaggregation by gender, disaggregation by age, geographical location, or nationality, for example, like all of those data points that you need, okay, that you need for yourself to understand, or some sort of behaviors, or even it can be the donor requirements, okay, because this is very often that donor requires you to collect data and present data that are disaggregated by gender, that are disaggregated by, let's say, age groups. Yes, it is important to know what you need, the data points that you need, and how you want to disaggregate them. Because, of course, when you build out your data collection tools, you will have all of this incorporated, okay? If you know that, yes, I need to have my data disaggregated by gender, it is important to have a gender question in your data collection tools, in your surveys, in everything else that you will design later, okay? And question number 6, are there guidelines to interpret and use the data from this indicator? Again, it is related to understanding the relevancy of the indicators that you are interested in, okay? And as I said, they all should be useful, okay? They all should be important to us. We will collect this data and we will assess it, we will read it, we will come up with some findings, and we will take actions based on it. So it is important to make sure that you have clear guidelines on how you want to use the data, how you will analyze it, how you will assess it, and yeah, how frequent that is, and yes, the feasibility of taking actions as well. And the last question, question number 7, what are the strengths and weaknesses of the indicator and the challenges in its use? This is related to a risk management technique. Okay, this is where you should understand if there are any risks related to this indicator. Okay, how specifically how you want to measure it and track it. Okay, are there strengths or weaknesses? For example, yeah, let's say we have like a specific indicator needs to collect data which is disaggregated by age group. Okay, disaggregated by age group, which is a common kind of disaggregation, but the community that you are dealing with, okay, they might be the kind of community that does not prefer or feel comfortable in disclosing this kind of data, okay? They don't like to share with you their age or something like this, or their educational background, okay? So it is important to know that yes, the kind of community we are dealing with, they might not be comfortable in sharing with us this kind of data, which means it is a weakness point. Okay, it is a weakness point because I will not. There is a chance that I will not get the data in the form that we want. So it is crucial to make this risk assessment, okay? Not only per service, not only per location and all of this. It is important to do the risk assessment per indicator, okay? To know what you are expecting. Of course, the risk assessment, it is related to the community you are dealing with. It is related to the geography. It is also related to the kind of data collection tools. For example, if you are using analog or digital data collection tools, if you are distributing some surveys that can be filled out, okay, just with a pen or a pencil, or you are sending them a digital kind of survey, it is important to understand your community. If your community is familiar with a digital survey, for example, okay, it is important to know all of those risks so that you know what you are expecting, you know that you should shift to another way. And yes, this is in brief, like the important questions that we need to ask ourselves. And after this, we will quickly review together the components of a useful indicator. Okay, so here in front of us, we have a list of 8 different components. Okay, and after this slide, we will review them in more details. So the 8 different type of components, it is the title, definition, a purpose, methods of measurement, target and baseline, data collection method and tools, data collection frequency, and risk assessment and mitigation plans. Actually, we touched on most of those items in the previous slides when we were thinking about the criteria, when we were thinking about the questions. All of those criteria and the questions, they are strongly related to the components of an indicator. Okay, so yes, those are the essential components of a well-established indicator. And after this slide, we will review together an example. We will see how those components are in a real life example. Okay, so for this example, again, I'm gonna use our project as the case here. Okay, as I said, we deliver support services to the businesses. One of them is training services. Okay, so let's take this service in particular. Okay, and let's think together what kind of different indicators we might have for this kind of service, which is a very common service. A training service is something common, whether it is in the livelihood, protection, or WASH kind of programs. A training service is a common service that can be delivered in the different types of projects. So this example is very applicable to other projects as well. All right, so we will choose this service, okay? And now we will think together of the different kind of indicators that we can select for our service. All right, so as we saw before, we have 4 different types of indicators. So the first type, it is the input kind of indicator. It is the input, it is, as we said, it is related to how we are using our resources, okay, whether it is our HR resources or our funds, okay. So an input indicator that we can select here, it is the number of trainers, okay. It is related to our HR capacity. It measures our HR and how we are spending our human resources. All right, so this is an idea for an input indicator. Another idea, it is the amount of funds, okay? So you can measure this in the form of a percentage. For example, 10% of the project budget was allocated to the training services, okay? This is our input. This is what we are putting into the service. And after this, it is the output indicators, okay? This is the kind of indicator that does not relate or indicate a change yet. No, it's not. It only describes how we used our resources, how we use the inputs. And an example for this is the number of businesses we trained. Okay, so we used this amount, a specific amount of funds to train people. We hired a specific number of trainers, and the first thing we expect is to have people we trained. Okay, so the output here that we will be interested in, it is how many people or how many businesses we trained. Okay, this is an idea for an output indicator. Another idea, it is how many sessions we trained. Okay, how many sessions we delivered. Okay, so we spent, let's say, $50,000 for the training services. So let's see how many training sessions we were able to deliver using this amount of funds and using the HR resources. And indicator type number 3, which is the outcome. It is what we expect to happen, a change. This is the intermediate, not intermediate, I mean the first change that will happen as a result of our interference. Okay, so we train the businesses. This is what we said, right? So what we expect to happen is that the businesses will confirm that they gained new knowledge and gained new skills, right? Because this is what we are aiming to achieve. We want to train them. We want them to become stronger and more competitive. So the first thing, the first positive change we expect is that, yes, the businesses will say, yes, your training was useful. I learned new concepts. I gained new knowledge. Okay, so this is how we will measure the outcome of a training session. Another idea for the outcome indicators, it is the number of businesses that demonstrate an increased understanding of the training session or of the training subject. Sorry. Okay. And yes, this means the businesses, again, the businesses that say, yes, I gained new knowledge. Okay. And an idea, like here, I'm going to stop and just give you like a brief example how this can be used, how this can be measured. Sorry. How can we measure that a trainee or a person has gained an increased understanding of the training subject? For example, before the training session, we can give them a pre-test. Okay, it is a test where we ask them questions related to the training topic before they receive the training, of course. Okay, and using the pre-test, we can understand or see how much they know about the topic. Okay, and then after they attend the session with us, and after the end of the session, we give them the post-test, and using the post-test, we can see how their understanding of the subject increased, and this will be demonstrated by the score that they will get. So in the pre-test, maybe they got 40 out of 100, and in the post-test, they will score 80 out of 100. That means their score changed from 40 to 80, which is an evidence for gaining new knowledge and gaining the new skills, because yeah, this is what happened after they joined our training session. And the last type of indicator, this is the impact kind of indicators. And for this type of indicator, as I said, this is what we aim to achieve eventually. This is the ultimate goal or objective of the project. Okay, and yes, so we expect the businesses to become stronger. Okay, stronger in terms of their capacity, become healthier, and have an increased capacity to compete in the market. Why? Because we want them to win new business opportunities and then create jobs for the people. All right. So the impact here is that, yes, the businesses will confirm that, yes, as a result of the skills, knowledge, and relations that you gave me through your services, now I am winning new business opportunities. Now I have new buyers, I have new clients, and all of this, okay? Because this is what we did using the project services. We trained them, we built their capacity, we connected them with the business opportunities, and now we expect them to confirm that, yes, our sales are growing, or we expanded to new markets. Now we have brand new buyers and clients. This is an idea for the impact, and another idea, which is the number of jobs that they are creating, right? Because they are growing, their revenues are growing, they have more business happening now, and as a result of this growth, they will need to hire new people, okay? And the impact here, it is the new jobs that were created as a result of our services. And this is an idea for the impact indicators. And yes, after this, okay, let's review together quickly the components of the indicator. This is the list of 8 components that we reviewed before the example. And now we will see how they are in one of the indicators. All right, so I'm going to go back to this slide, and here we will select one of the 8 indicators in front of us. Okay, we have 8 indicators related to one service. Let's select the outcome indicator that says number of businesses that confirm gaining in new concepts and knowledge as a result of our training services. So let's review together its components. So the first component, it is the title component. Number of businesses that confirm gaining in new concepts and knowledge. This is the title of the indicator. It is simple. It is clearly understandable to everyone. It is not vague. It is not, let's say, complicated language that only the program people can understand. No, it is in a simple language that anyone can understand. Okay, they don't have to be engaged in our project. If it is someone visiting us from the donor organization or from any other stakeholder, and they hear about this indicator, they can clearly and easily understand what the indicator means. Okay, so after having a clear title, it is the definition. Okay, so you can think of it as a table like this, and the table has 8 columns. Okay, so 8 columns, they represent 8 components. And when you are selecting your indicators, it is important to fill out the 8 columns together. Okay, so after you select a title for the indicator, make sure that you give it a clear definition in case someone wants to reach more information about this indicator. Okay, so someone read the indicator title, they understood what it means, but they want more info there, so they can read the definition. And here, for this example, the definition says, this indicator measures the usefulness of our training session. For the attendees, yeah, the usefulness is from their perspective, okay, and it is measured in terms of the new knowledge that they gained. Okay, the new knowledge is meant to fill the gaps in their operational skills. This is the definition of the title, and of course, it is always explained in more words when compared to the title, because it is supposed to give more information. And component number 3, it is the purpose and the rationale, okay, which is why we need this indicator, okay? So here for this component, you will explain why this indicator is important, okay? As we said, all the indicators should be important. They all should be relevant to our mission, to our objective. And here for this example, it is to verify. This is the purpose of this indicator. It is to verify whether the training sessions are delivering value to the attendees. Okay, it is to make sure that yes, the businesses are confirming that yes, your training session is useful to us. We are learning from it. Okay, and yes, this is why we need an indicator like this, because if the results come out and the results are negative, then this means we need to stop and we need to understand why the people are saying, no, your training session is not important, is not useful to us, we are not learning from it. Okay, that means we need to take a corrective action here. All right, and having an indicator like this, it is sure that we know if things are going in the right direction or not. Component number 3, it is the method of measurement. Okay, so here you have to clearly describe how you intend to measure or track this indicator. Okay, it can be surveys, it can be tests. Okay, I explained this in details. I said we are interested in seeing the development in their knowledge using pre-test and post-test method. Okay, this is my measurement tool. This is what I will use to see if this is happening or not. Okay, it can. It's not always limited to tests or surveys. Actually, you can do something different. You can think of focused group discussions, for example. You can think of something more like an application, okay, something that is more applicable. You don't need to test the people to see if they learn something new. You can, for example, ask them to prove to you that they learned a new knowledge. So you can, after the training session, you can, for example, ask them to go and apply what they learned and then come back to you to prove to you that, yes, we learned from you this and that technique, we applied it and we got this and this. Okay, this is also a correct method. And next we have component number 5, which is the target and baseline. The target, it means yes, the quantity, okay, the quantitative target of your indicator. That means like how many people you want to train, or the percentage of the people that you want to make sure they are gaining new knowledge. Okay, so let's say we trained 200 businesses. Okay, my target is to make sure that 80% of them say, yes, we learned new knowledge. Yes, we learned new concepts. Okay, so this is the target, to make sure that every indicator has a specific target. And in case you are realizing, let's say, something which is far below the target. So for this example, the target is 80. Let's say we are realizing 40%. Then this is a red alert for you. This is where you need to make sure you reassess the service, reassess the quality of the service, because only 40% of the trainees are gaining new knowledge. That means something is wrong. Okay, that's why it is important to pay attention to the realization against your target, to make sure if everything is okay, is everything reasonable and acceptable. Okay, and component number 6, it is the data collection method and tool. Okay, it is directly related to the method of measurement. Okay, how you want to measure it, what kind of tool you want to incorporate. Okay, again, as we said, it can be something analog or digital. It can be a focused group discussions. It comes in different forms, and as I said before, it depends on the circumstances. That means it depends on the community you are dealing with. Are they comfortable using digital tools? Do they prefer online? Do they prefer in person? All of those questions that you need to take into consideration in understanding the community that you are dealing with, and according to it, you can think of your tools. Okay. For us, for example, we are serving businesses. That means they are very comfortable using digital tools. So we would prefer to use Google Forms, for example, or ODK kind of surveys to build out test forms. Yeah. And number 7, yes, component number 7, it is the data collection frequency. Okay, here you should clearly understand or describe when you want to measure or collect the data for that indicator. Okay, it's a frequency. That means you want to do it on a monthly basis and so on. Of course, it is specific to each indicator. You can have in your project, you can have some indicators that need to be measured and tracked every month, but not some of them, they need to be tracked on an ad hoc basis. Okay, that means after every interaction. But for this example in particular, our example here, the number of businesses that confirm gaining new concepts and knowledge, it is something that we need to track after every session. We don't need to wait for a month. We don't need to do the data collection at the end of the quarter, at the end of every quarter or something. No, it's not necessary. It is better if we do it right after we deliver the services, because it is an outcome kind of indicator. It doesn't need a long time period or something. No, it doesn't. So we can do it right away. And the last component, and component number 8, it is the risk assessment and mitigation plan. Okay, we touched on this in details. It is again to make sure that every indicator has clearly reported weaknesses and strength points. Okay, for this example in particular, if we have to think of the risk, it might be the low participation rate in the post surveys. Okay, post service surveys. For example, after businesses benefit from our services, they might be less interested in giving us what we want from them. Okay, we want them to fill out a survey, we want them to take the test, which is for our sake. Let's say it is important for us, we want to understand. Okay, so they might be less interested. They might be, okay, we are done, we received their service, thank you, but I don't have time to take a survey with you or something like this. This is a common kind of issue. Okay, it is a risk, of course, and here we have to think of some solutions or mitigation plans. Okay, here we can switch to another method that takes less time from the businesses. Okay, instead of sending them a survey that they have to complete by themselves, we can consider giving them a phone call. We can consider calling them and conducting the survey or conducting the test via phone. Okay, this can be faster, and because the beneficiary is doing it with a human, there is a better chance that they will be more responsive. And yes, those are the 8 different components of indicators, and yeah, we review them with respect to one of the indicators that we came up with for one of our services, and this is how they apply. This is how we use them, and yes, using them can assure us to a high level that we are selecting and forming useful and meaningful indicators. And yes, this is the end of this session, actually, and now I will be happy to receive your questions. If you have any questions you would like to ask, if there are any comments, and yes, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for joining us and your interest. I will review the chat box now to see if there are any questions. Yes, I'm checking the chat box and I don't see anything now. Yes, if you have any questions, you can raise your hand and we can, yep, turn your microphone on. Okay. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you a lot for your interest and for joining us. And yes, so I haven't received a notification, so maybe we don't have any questions for now, but yeah, we can share with you this slides file if you need it with some additional resources that you can use for yourselves if you want to learn more about this and see more about it in details. And yes, so I'm gonna leave my email in the chat, my email address in the chat as well. And yes, if you would like to request the slides from us, I will be happy to share it with you and hear from you. And another thing I wanted to share with you is the evaluation form. We would be happy to hear from you how you found this session and get feedback from you. I share with you the link on the chat box. If you can please open it and fill it out, we will be very grateful to understand more about your needs, your opinions, what we need to change and do better. Thank you everyone for your attendance. Yes, I'm gonna wait one more minute in case anyone has any questions, anyone would like to add anything before we end the meeting. Okay, thank you everyone again for your attendance and your interest, and we wish to see you again in the next session of our series, and we wish you a great day. Thank you everyone.